It's Speculation Sunday with MJZ Comics.
Let's get it going. Let's start the show. Before we get started, make sure you give this video a like, hit the subscribe button, and click that notification bell so you don't miss any of our new videos.
Please and thank you. This is our Speculation Sunday video regarding the books that were released on February 8th, 2023. So in today's video, we've got some interesting books that we picked up. Again, these are the books MJZ Comics purchases on new release day that we kind of speculate on. We grab them, put them away in the long boxes, and hang on to them. And this is how we have funded our collection. So the first book in this video we're going to talk about is Static 1, The Shadows of Dakota. I love the Static series, the original Static. First Appearance is a great book. This book, a couple first appearances in here. We have the first appearance of Isaac and the first appearance of Quincy. Both colleagues of Static, friends of his that are starting to realize that they have powers, and maybe this will be like a team up and they'll kind of join Static in his fight against the villains. But again, cool book, Static 1, The Shadows of Dakota. Really cool cover. He's on his board with kind of the electricity flying around him. Great cover and a couple first appearances.
Next book we have is Storm and the Brotherhood of Mutants #1. This is the first appearance of a character known as John Ironfire. We love the X-Men. If you've been watching our videos, we're huge on X-Men books. Storm's a great character, one that we're hoping to see soon show up in the MCU, so we think this is a great pickup for you guys out there.
Yep, an X-Men book with a first appearance, recipe for success. Next book we have, of course, I feel like weekly we're having Star Wars books on the list. This is Star Wars, The High Republic, #5. Another Star Wars book, another first appearance. What can I say? We love Star Wars at MJZ. When we see first appearances in the new release Star Wars books, we always grab them. This is the first appearance of Mother of the Path of the Open Hand. Mouthful there, but it is a first appearance. It's a Star Wars book. I'm enjoying this line. It's a great read if you're into Star Wars. So Star Wars, The High Republic, #5. Another first appearance. Another good idea to spec on this book.
Next book is DC Universe Lazarus, Planet Next Evolution #1. This appears to be a one-shot. This is the first appearance of a character called Deadeye and the first team appearance of the Vigil. So Marvel, DC, they kind of go together. Great book to pick up with a couple different first appearances.
Yeah, with James Gunn taking over DC, I just have a strong feeling that the DC books are going to make a comeback here soon. I mean, you can already see they're starting to rise in price. A lot of the lists on the internet, when they list like the top 10 sales of the month, it's getting DC heavy. With the Marvel MCU, the ratings kind of low and people not as happy with what's been produced, it's perfect timing for DC to maybe step in and pick up their game and gain some momentum here.
And I think James Gunn has shown that he's going to pick some maybe unconventional DC properties. So why not pick up some of these new DC releases? He may end up using these in some future projects.
Yeah, and just side note, I was reading some stuff on the internet, some rumors that Chris Pratt may be joining the DCU. Guardians Part 3 coming out in May, and they've said it's kind of this will be the end of the Guardians in the MCU. It'd be perfect timing for Pratt to go join his buddy Gunn and do something cool in DC. So the next book is kind of interesting. This is Spider-Man related. It is the Red Goblin #1. Again, this came out on February 8th. This book has some first appearances and it's got some other books related to that we're going to talk about. But the significance of this book is that it's Normie Osborn bonded with a symbiote and the first new Goblin King. Now, I did say Normie Osborn. I'm not talking about Norman Osborn in this book. This is Normie Osborn, who was Norman Osborn's grandson. A little bit complicated, a little confusing, but follow us. We're going to talk about some other books here related to the Red Goblin #1. But again, I think this is a good pickup. Spider-Man related. It's got a couple first appearances, and it's going to tie in with some older books from a few years back that we're going to bring up here in just a second. So that's the end of the books we're picking up for February 8th. Now let's continue into some other books that we can show you. Probably aren't on people's high list right now, but you could find in some back bins, you could find at decent deals on eBay because they're not hot right now, but they are related to this Red Goblin. With this series coming out, it may pick up the popularity of these books.
Yeah, so a few years ago, Red Goblin was supposed to be one of the hottest new characters in the Spider-Man run.
Yep.
Really didn't turn out that way, but there are some interesting books that we thought we would mention. First one here is Amazing Spider-Man 797. Now, everyone thought this was going to be the first appearance of the Red Goblin, who is Norman Osborn bonded with the Carnage symbiote, and that happened in the issue before this. This actually ended up just being an homage cover of Spider-Man 238. I think technically this is the first cover appearance of the Red
Yeah.
Goblin, but it's not listed as it.
Right. The Red Goblin is a little bit confusing if you start researching his first appearance, first cover, all that kind of thing. But this book came out with a lot of hype, went crazy for a while. It was a really tough variant to secure. It's gone down. I remember when I think this thing was hot when it came out. This thing was selling for like $1,000. And now, Matt, what do we say? This 9/8's like,
Maybe $200 you can get it under.
yeah. And I think it's his first cover. Like I said, he's on the cover and it predates the book that is listed as his first cover. I think what the problem is the original copy of this number of Amazing Spider-Man, he's not on the cover, but he is on this variant of that cover. So I think there's where that's the confusion and how they have it listed. But it's a really cool cover. Mayhew did it.
I believe that Mayhew, yeah,
Yeah.
Mayhew covered.
And I believe it's a homage to the Hobgoblin. It's a cool book.
And another book with it is 798. This is the first appearance of Norman Osborn as the Red Goblin. And we have the variant Virgin cover here. So kind of a cool book to look at. You could probably pick up the regular covers, which we'll put a picture up for probably in the long boxes for what, maybe a couple bucks. I don't think they're
Yeah,
that
I
too
mean,
expensive
this
anymore.
character really lost favor after it took Marvel didn't really expound on it a lot when it
Mm.
came out, and it just kind of died. And I remember everybody was like, "Oh man, we put a lot of money into these books, kind of a dud." But for those of you that have these books, hey, it may make a revival here with the Red Goblin one that just came out on February 8th. See if you can find some of these for cheap. It may pay off in the long run if they keep pushing this Red Goblin series. Let us know what you think. This is the end of our Speculation Sunday video. MJZ out.